So the question really we have to ask is your website AI friendly and AI accessible, which are different? So your website has 2 AI visitors. When I was researching this, I didn't actually realize this. This really taught me a lot. But the 2 visitors are these AI bots. So whilst the Google bot gathers data for future retrieval and ranking, the GPT bot collects and gathers data for knowledge and intelligence. So I think that's where we're going to start seeing a separation in search results. So AI bots probably visited your website yesterday. AI agents are different. So AI agents are a virtual visitor that uses a virtual browser, keyboard and mouse. Did you know that? They actually use a keyboard and mouse, a virtual one. So to emulate the usage of a real user who's here to complete a task, research or action based, which is what we've just been talking about now. But visits from these agentic models, they're called, are still rare. So most of the bots that are exploring your website are actually AI bots and GPT bots. So your future prospective clients, these people aren't clients at the moment, but may well be, are going to do things like ask AI for recommendations, ask AI to compile research on your industry, ask AI to tell them more about your brand, and eventually, hopefully, ask AI to get in touch and set up a call, because that's the way it's going, isn't it?
Yeah, there'll be a time where you'll be able to say to Alexa, I want to sell my house, book 3 valuations in this week with the top 3 agents.
Using my calendar.
Yeah, use my calendar.
So easy, isn't it? Bit scary. But your website is critical for all of this. So this is something called GEO. You've heard of SEO. This is generative engine optimization. And this is the process by which, and it's going to be an art and a science, it trains the AI to mention your brand. What company does the AI recommend? The one with the detailed website. So we've done loads of searches over the last few weeks just to experiment with this idea, haven't we? We've put in things like, who are the best estate agents to sell my unique home in the Lake District? Give me the reasons why. And what we found is that at the moment, AI is using our own website to feed back to us that information, but it's also using third party, and it prefers third party websites. So at the moment, there isn't enough information for it to gather in the way that we want it to gather. So it has to use our website, but it will be using third parties. But third parties, you could also be controlling, like your Rightmove listing, your Rightmove profile.
Yeah, it seems to prefer to give details initially from third-party websites. So it likes to go to Rightmove, because it's obviously a very high visited site, a trusted site, and pulls information from your agency description on the Rightmove page, which you've probably not looked at in years. Mm-hmm. I don't think we looked at it in years. So that description is the first place to go to make sure that it would answer if someone Googled, if someone chat GPT, that's going to be a
mouthful
term, isn't it?
Yeah.
Who's the best agent to use in Dorchester, to make sure that the information on your Rightmove description would answer that question and would put you up there.
It also means, and you'll see this from the AI prompts, the 5 that we've given you on that link before, it's important to do things like PR, which we haven't really prioritized in the past, because it wants to go and find this information on sites that aren't your site, third-party sites. And so if you can find a local news article on you that mentions the words that it's looking for, that's what it will prefer. So it's actually, so PR is going to be more important, which is the opposite of what you think.
Yeah. So in Cosmo, we're going to start plugging in some PR campaigns for that reason, because we know that local journalists are desperate for stories on different things. And if you can use ChatGPT or Perplexity to create a PR piece that's written exactly how a journalist wants, and then that gets sent to them, they're going to use it, and then that links back to how ChatGPT or the likes would gather information and learn to give your company.
Well, we've come up with a prompt, really good PR prompt on the 5 prompts list. And when we put that prompt in, the PR prompt, it gave us a load of news outlets that was brilliant, wasn't it? It was just right for what we were trying to do. Yeah. And also it wrote a press release for us, which is fantastic. Language needs to be simple, straightforward and extractable. And extractable is an important word here. So it needs to be, when you describe what it is that you do and how and why you do it, you need to write it in a form that the AI can go and take that information and present it to the person who's looking for it. So it needs to be able to get the information out. So, for example, it can't look at text on an image at the moment. It wouldn't go there. It would just go to your text, which is what Google does as well. So if you've got a little, a big sort of beautiful image on your first page that says, all the things you do as a graphic, it's not going to extract it from it extracts it from the actual text on your site. So you need to also repeat it in text. It doesn't go into videos. So it can't go and find the text in the video or find your words in the video and extract that. It's going to go to the most easily extractable text, which will be actual text on your website. So if you have ring-fenced things in a brochure, a graphic, or a video, it can't extract it. So make sure that it's extractable. So AI is trained on everything they can find online about you. You just don't have to go and put one of those prompts in that we've given you to find what they've got on you. So you can even ask it, what do you know about my brand? What do you know about how we sell houses in Dorchester? And it will tell you. It'll tell you where it's got the information from. It's got all the citations, in particular Complexity does this really well, where it's got a list of all the citations. So you can go to all those different websites and make sure that information is up to date. So is your website done? No, because unfortunately, even if you've got a brand new, beautiful, all singing, all dancing website right now, you'll find that if you haven't AI'd it or AI friendlied it, you're going to have to go back to step one, really. And in fact, a lot of what we've been doing with websites over the last few years are now going to be redundant with AI. I was looking at the beautiful Stephen Bartlett's website, which, have you seen that? I can't remember which one of it is of his. It's got about 3.
What, Stephen Bartlett is beautiful, or the website?
The website.
Right.
Stephen Bartlett's beautiful website. It scrolls sideways instead of down.
Yeah.
And it's very animated. It's very engaging, but it's no good for AI. Absolutely not. AI is just looking for, what's the podcast about? What do you want me to do? Who is it for? And that's not going to work. So there's a checklist here for AI-friendly websites. I will show you at the end how you can get hold of all the slides in this deck that we're presenting here. So you need to make sure that every part of this checklist is on your website. One of them that I think is really interesting is create comparison pages. So this is what we're talking about, the gaming really, and the manipulation. You can create a comparison page where you compare your brand to other brands, and you can put yourself at the top of that ranking, and AI will take that as fact and then report that back to a searcher. And that's what Google won't do at the moment. Google can see through that little manipulation, but at the moment AI can't. Okay, let's move over. So I'll move on. Traffic from AI sources climbing over 1 year. And what you'll see here is a graph with a huge rise in AI sourced information. And that's just going to get more and more and more. So human searches are going to get less and less, and AI search is going to get more and more. You're going to see a massive separation in this over the coming even months. It's happening so fast with things like China's DeepSeek that it's moving faster than any of us can possibly anticipate. And all these AIs are learning on themselves, so it's exponential.
Yeah, search will totally change over the next year.
Mm-hmm. So your action plan is choose your free AI and start practicing, because without practice, you can't really see what you can do with these. You don't create a prompt once and then that's it. In the olden days, you used to be able to put, you probably don't know this, but you used to be able to put in Google, best pizza company UK and actually get the answer. And then over the next 10 years, that answer was very muddied with everything that would come up with adverts and gamed pages and everything, with people that have got backlinks. And so you had to start putting in some really specific searches. So best pizza restaurant near me that is child friendly, that is open now, that has 5-star reviews. You have to be really specific, which is what we call a long tail search.
Yeah, I still wouldn't be confident in the accuracy of the results, though.
No, I wouldn't.
Google.
I definitely wouldn't. But it just shows how we've had to change our searching on Google. You can't just put in, best pizza.
Yeah. Because
you're not going to get the answer you need. What you actually want to know is probably where it is near you. So it's the same with prompts. You need to put in the exact thing you need, which is a long tail prompt. It's not a short prompt. It's probably several sentences. Yeah. And that's just only going to get more and more.
The AI takes every individual point of that sentence and creates an answer.
Yes.
I wouldn't trust Google to do that.
No, I definitely don't either. No. And then create and refine and save useful prompts. So start coming up with your prompt library. I'm not sure exactly how we're going to be saving all these prompts. At the moment, they're in a Word document, but they are going to have to form part of our processes. But I'll go back to AI and do that. I'll ask AI to refine our processes to include its own prompt system, and then ask it how it will plug in something like Zapier or some, integrator or open API to be able to have a seamless journey through them all. Manus AI does this. Have you heard of this one?
No.
MANUS. So Manus AI and Make AI, they're both systems that are going to allow you to create a process that uses multimodal, lots of full stack, basically, lots and lots of different types of software all put together to create your processes. And that's, I think, where it's really going to get interesting. Yeah. Check out the 5 essential prompts videos and cheat sheet. Share with your team and hold regular feedback sessions on how we can use AI and how they're using AI. So we found that our team actually needs a lot of encouragement to use AI. Have you found that as well? It's not their default, is it?
Yeah, and you don't want to, or I feel like we don't want to cheapen our offering by making it obvious to the public and to clients that we're using AI. So it's why throughout our process, we're taking baby steps in terms of client and public communication, because the type of clients we have will be used to AI and will be able to spot AI if we don't do it correctly. And I think that in a service business like we are, it could go the wrong way. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
I agree. So Kate's just asked if AI can read the meta in your images. The short answer is yes, it can. But if you're asking it to search the web, what is it going to do? It's going to search for text because it wants to come back to you with a quick answer. I'm sure in the early days of AI, you would have been sat there for half an hour, an hour, but now it actually does provide you with an answer within seconds, doesn't it? So it probably doesn't want to explore 10 websites metadata. It probably wants to explore 100 or even 1,000 websites and take the text. So I think that it's more about efficiency of results, not necessarily whether it can or can't do it. I can tell you that it's not doing. It's not reading our metadata on our images on our website, the alt text, basically. And you can check this yourself as well. So if you only put something in an alt text, can it find it? Put a very specific sentence into an alt text and then put a question into ChatGPT and see if it finds it, because I suspect it won't find it. But I do believe it can do it. It just isn't. And then working on making sure your website is as friendly and accessible as you can for the AI bot. So making sure that you've used our checklist and that you're going through methodically and then doing your own checks every now and again. So it's not really like Google, in the same way as if you put a search into Google and it's your own desktop, it remembers all your searches and therefore it's going to give you a very skewed answer, like it's going to put you at the top of the list. AI will hopefully give you much more of a balanced view. So therefore, if you put a new prompt in, particularly to Perplexity, which doesn't remember, it should then give you the answer in a way that you can use it without having remembered your searches. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so the difference between sort of incognito and standard.
Yes, so ChatGPT would be standard and Perplexity would be incognito on that basis. The reason we use Perplexity, or I particularly do, is because Perplexity uses the web much more effectively, I think, than ChatGPT. And so my searches, my prompts are much more information and data related. Whereas if you're trying to create graphics and you want more generalized queries, then I would use ChatGPT. So a little thing I did yesterday that made me laugh from AI, took a picture of one of my recipe book pages with a recipe on it. And I was going to sit there and work at all the ingredients, but I just put it through Perplexity and said, extract the data from this image and create me a shopping list. Mm-hmm. It's pretty cool. It's good. Could have asked it to group it by aisle, actually. Could have done that. So agency used to be so simple. This is before my time, before you are rude to me, by the way. My mum used to work in an agent, William H. Brown in Lincolnshire, and she used to have to go around to the, photo shop, as it actually was a photo shop in those days, not Photoshop, and, get little pictures printed and come back and stick them on by hand. And she used to type up details using carbon paper because she didn't have a photocopier. So it used to be much more simple, but actually much harder work in some ways. And people would have to come to you for the details because they couldn't see it anywhere else, couldn't go anywhere else to find these details. So agencies changed so much. Now it feels like you have to be a tech geek to be successful. What we've just presented in this mini training is something that we wouldn't have been able to present a year ago. It's moving that fast. So what's going to be the next iteration? It's almost impossible to keep up, isn't it? And then there's lots and lots of industry gurus and technologists that want to sell you the thing. So you were asking before, I can't remember who asked about Sam, I think it was, about industry AI, and at the moment, I suspect it's expensive and doesn't deliver fully. But I don't know. I'm just saying in general that tends to be what happens with new technology, doesn't it, in each industry? So it's very difficult to be able to see the wood for the trees and not spend an absolute fortune on these things. You kind of want a guide that's already doing it in their agency. This is what we do. We provide a sort of a guide and mentoring service for agents like you who are trying to navigate their way through this, just like we do. We're probably ahead because we spend our time on researching and plugging in these systems before we can then teach them. We don't teach anything we haven't already tested ourselves. And agents like you feel overworked and overwhelmed. It's actually quite hard to step back from your overwhelm and your overwork, like when you've got a diary full of vowels and viewings.
Yeah, especially when your inbox is probably full of emails like ours saying how important it is to jump on AI right now, and you're probably thinking, well, I just need some valuations rather than think about some stupid robot that's trying to, make me tea it someday in the future. And that hasn't changed.
No.
The priority is definitely still filling your diary with valuations. What we don't want you to do is get distracted away from the key core estate agency business of getting valuations. That is the number one thing that you should all be doing.
At the moment, do you have enough valuations in your diary? Yes or no? And I'm not going to determine what enough is. Do you have enough valuations in your diary? Yes or no?
And you should know what enough is. It shouldn't be a gut feeling. It should be a plan of how many you need to hit target.
Yeah. And just while you're answering that, I will say that so working with somebody like us with Cosmo, where the valuations you get are directly related to what we give you. So we give you this process and these letters, and that directly relates to how many valuations you get. All the challenges you then have, and we're working with Mr. and Mr. Child at the moment, aren't we, over in Harrogate? And the challenges they have are not about getting more valuations to the diary, because they do exactly what we tell them to do and use our letters. Now their challenges have moved on to how do we hire somebody? How do we get these properties on the market in a systemized way? How do we do viewings? How do we get offers over the line?
How do we recruit?
So all this AI can help you with, and or somebody like Cosmo can help you with the training packs and the templates and all the things we give you. It's kind of like agency in a box, isn't it? Where the first problem is valuations, and if you have a valuations scarcity problem, nothing else matters. But when you fix it, then everything else is what you have to do next.
Yeah, and I guess we believe that, and we practice what we preach in terms of our training, of where we go and get our coaching, is that we are giving our members everything that we do. So what you see,
we're pretty transparent.
We're quite transparent on all our numbers and our successes and failures and holidays and and everything we're going through with AI and GEO instead of SEO, and the way we're changing our content and the way we're creating PR, all that will and is plugged into Cosmo.
Because we want you to have access to all these things because you need them.
Yeah.
And
it's quite simple. It's a lot. I believe agency is a lot simpler than people try and make it.
It is, but it doesn't feel like that when you've got no valuations and you're not selling any houses.
Yeah.
It feels like that is insurmountable. So I've just asked how, do you have enough valuations in your diary? And we've had 2 people say yes, which is fantastic. Well done, you guys. And everybody else has said no, pretty much. So yeah, it's pretty obvious, isn't it, that no is the general. Do we have enough valuations in our diary?
I've not checked Tom's diary.
I think we have enough in terms of our
but we will
target.
It's very rare we miss target.
By target, we mean the number of valuations we have in the diary and then how they convert down the line. It doesn't have to be like this. Team Cruise last year, Phil was slightly tipsy, and I said, come and stand next to this bottle of beer and look into the camera, and he just could not do it. He was being silly. That was the best one. There were about 20 pictures that Jenna took. So we run our £1 million agency 9 to 5 with no stress and teach agents like you to do the same.
No stress.
I'm not going to say we have no stress.
Yourself.
Well, for a start, you don't do the vast majority of the valuations.
No.
You never do a viewing. You never do an offer negotiation. You're not going to be dealing with that complaint. So when I say no stress, it's because the stress is handled by the right people in the agency to take on that stress. It might just not feel like it all the time. It's relative, isn't it? 5 years ago, you were doing all those things, and so was I. And we teach agents like you to do the same. And actually, not only do we teach, we also give you everything that you need, the templates. It's kind of like a whole manual of how to run an agency. We just drip feed it over, the months. So we keep it really simple.
Yeah, I just don't want people to think that becoming a Cosmo client takes the stress away.
Well, if
you ask
Mr. and Mr. Child, who the stress was they didn't have any valuations at all, and now they've got too many.
Yeah, the stress just changes.
It changes, yeah, and it adds a few zeros.
Yeah.
We just do 3 things really, really well. And you know us. You've been on webinars before. You've been on our email list. You might have been following us for many years. Might have read my book even. Might have listened to Phil's audiobook. Letters, content and training. That's all we've ever stood for, really. We've never really gone beyond the boundaries of those. In the training, it depends on the person that's in front of us, whether they want to know about AI or they want to know actually how to conduct evaluation. But with the letters and content, that's pretty standard. It's what we use every day in our agency. If you don't have, really good content, when your letter lands, you don't get the call. But if you only have really good content and you don't have letters, you don't get the call. So it all works together. And the training helps you to, make sure that you make the right impression on that first valuation, makes you know how to value a house. And then everything from that point onwards, including team building and strategy. So for 8 years, you could only get our letters, content and training, as some of you know, including Sally that's watching this, by investing somewhere between 15k and 24k a year. And we still have people investing 24k a year right now in getting access to those 3 things. But that's a big ask for a small agent. And some of you, not Roger, but some of you are very, very small agents, maybe even micro agents, maybe solopreneurs working just literally on your own with no help whatsoever. So that's why for you, we've created Cosmo. So Cosmo is like having your marketing department and everything else in a box so that you can focus on what you're good at. Letters, content and training at a price that we think that everybody can afford. So this is what you get with Cosmo. Letters, content, training, exactly as we've just said. So letters for fast results, targeted, amazing ROI, content to give you expert positioning. It drives qualified traffic and it will help AI find you and your content and then refer you and recommend you. And training, the skills, resources, tools, templates, the AI prompts, the images that we're creating through AI, all the things that we're doing that we're paying for these subscriptions for, you get them as part of Cosmo. Pretty cool, really.
I think so.
So letters, a catalogue of successful letters we've used in Ashdown Jones since we opened. So some of those letters not just go back 8 years, but go back further than that, because some of our really successful early letters were ones that I'd written like 5-10 years earlier that I've experimented with vendors. Plus bonus mailers. So we actually do these beautifully designed mailers and extra marketing goodies so that you can use those, print them, put them on your website, whatever. Monthly content packs, blog post, header graphics, social graphics, video script, all the things that you've seen us use. When we create a video from a blog post, you need a video script to go with it. So it just helps you to get that content out there. I've called this stock images. It's more like library images, really. Beautifully styled library images. Almost all internal, because we've got very specific houses here in the Lake District. You don't want to be putting a stone-built house with a mountain behind it if you're, on your social media, if you're in the middle of Leeds. So we have some beautifully styled images. Again, go back 8 years. We've got tens of thousands of them now that you can use now in your agency. And it just helps to elevate your brand. Vendor attracting blog posts, so evergreen and seasonal blogs to position you as the expert online. And again, the AI can find that. Then header graphics and social graphics so that people can see you visually as well. Just gets people used to seeing the brand, doesn't it? Over and over and over again. Become a video expert with our scripts. Beautiful library images. The training, we've got 3 main elements for the training. So business basics, which is where you start. Growth skills, which is where you move on to, and scaling for when you've got multiple branches and you probably think you might getting out at the other end. So we address all 3 of those in our training elements. So this is just an example of some of our training elements. I think this month we've got social media training, which we call our blast training. We've got how to amplify your content. We've just done a conversion training, haven't we? You did that, I think, for Legend. And we start off with a really great content pack, starter pack, which includes the real business essentials training as well. And if you can also give it to your team members as well. Yeah. So if you're looking for our letters that work because they get us through the right doors, right? A mailing's a content library. Again, it works for us. Monthly training on every aspect of growing your agency from the people in the know, because we're doing it every day, all for a low monthly fee with no minimum term contract. We thought this was really important. Whereas when you join Mastermind, you have to stay a year. With Cosmo, you don't. You can stay a month. Then Cosmo is for you. So all this is just £347 plus VAT per month for individual offices or entities, however your brand works. But we want to make Cosmo super affordable for every agent. I think 347 is an amazing price. It's also got a no strings guarantee with Cosmo, which is cancel any time, no hassle. 30 days notice is all we ask for. That's all. So if you feel like you want to cancel, just pop an email to us and we'll make sure that within 30 days, you won't get the next payment taken off you. When you join Cosmo, you also get instant access to our Cosmo starter pack. And I'll let you go through these.
Yeah. So in the starting pack, there's 3 training modules, which we think will get you going, get the ball rolling on certain topics and ways of thinking. You get your first few Cosmo content packs, so you can instantly start posting the content and get AI hopefully finding you and getting ready to be top of that list. So that'll include blog post, a header graphic for your socials, and a few other things.
So we actually give you 3 of those as well in the first content pack. So you can either choose which one you want. They're all evergreen, or you can just schedule them all. So when you first go live with your first ever blog post, or first ever of our Cosmo blog post, sometimes you might think actually that's just looks a bit rubbish on the website, got one styled blog post. But actually having 3 means that people will think that this is now a consistent way of you branding yourself via your content. So I think it's just good to have 3 to get started.
Yeah, and it will be.
And you'll have the next one the next month then.
Yep. And the Cosmo started direct mail pack. So these letters that we use every single week in our agency, the try again letter, the buyer waiting.
What is the try again letter?
The try again is for homes that have withdrawn from the market and therefore need to try again. Cleverly named, as you can see. And then in the next direct mail pack, there's the letter that gets us the most number of valuations.
So we give you the starter pack here to make sure that you've got the basics. Yeah. And to make sure you've got a library that you can go to.
Yeah.
And then the O team is on the market. And then from then you can progress to the more advanced kind of letters, which is what we use every day in our agency as well. We get out 1,250 letters a month, and there's a mixture of all our different kinds of letters. We use the same letters that we're giving to you as well. This was a little, you got this, didn't you, actually, I think? Oh, no, it was me. So this guy says, "Hi, Sam, just joined Cosmo. This is exactly what we need." And I said, and then he said, "Oh, this is a different person. Loving it. Thought it could be a bit naff for the price. You always say you get what you pay for, but it's ridiculous. Don't charge me more."